Nice to see you. Today I'm going to be doing a quick guide video for Mario Kart 8. I've had quite a few people actually request this from me. So yeah, we're just going to do that. Hopefully it helps some of you. That's the main importance for me, is it actually helped you guys. Disclaimer though, I don't actually think I'm that good. And obviously there's a lot of things that are more specific for each person, so this one's just going to be like a general basics kind of try and do X, Y, and Z, and then hopefully you should see some improvement in your races basically. There are a lot of very in-depth what's the word? There's a lot of the game's very in-depth basically. A lot more than people I think give it credit for. So yeah, I'm gonna just try and focus on the basics today, and hopefully that will then help you guys in some way improve. So yeah, just a disclaimer there. This is not the be all end all. You do all of this, you will be God. Like, nah, it's not that. That being said, let's hop right into it, and yeah, hopefully we can get somewhere, and hopefully it will help you guys out. So yeah, let's hop right into it. Let's go! Okay, so here we are. We're in the game. Ta-da! So what I'm going to cover in this video, like I said, I'm going to just try and go over the basics. So just to give you a rundown of what that's going to consist of, we're going to talk about kart builds. We're going to talk about racing lines. We're going to talk about turbo management, item management as well. Are the main key things that we're going to focus on today. They are basically, that is the basics. So first of all, we'll start with, I'm going to go on time trials, I'm going to need that later on. So we'll start with kart builds and setup. This is probably the one I get the most questions on. I could literally make an hour-long video just on this. I'm not going to. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible. Now, there is if you actually do search for guides and stuff on YouTube, I can't remember the name of the theory. There's actually like a mathematical theory that states that anything that's out there that has a load of variable data, so in this case on a racing game you have, if you look here, you've got what, speed, acceleration, weight, etc, like that. There is a mathematically like optimum build that statistically is the best build for all scenarios, which is why if you've ever played online, the build you see a lot consists of Waluigi, the Wiggler, which is this one here, I can find the dang thing. There you go. Roller wheels, and the paper glider, which is that one there. That is what the quote meta mathematical equation build states is the best build in the game, which is why again you see a lot of people using this. I've been in lobbies where I've just been like, it's been me and 11 other people with just that setup, and I'm like, really guys? You know, it's like, why you do this, people? Why? There are caveats to this though. What I mean by that is that there is, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. Just because this is the mathematically like quote best way to go about it doesn't mean it's actually the best for you. So what I'm going to do is because there's a lot of hidden stats in the game. That's the other thing as well. So if you look here, the game only shows you speed, acceleration, weight, handling, and grip. There is actually also ground. There's, I'm trying to basically put this down as simple as I can. So on top of these stats that aren't, the stats that aren't shown because there's hidden stats, is speed is broken down into, you've got ground speed, water speed, air speed, anti-gravity speed. Handling, you've got ground, water, air, anti-gravity handling, instead of just being classed as handling. And then you've also got a mini turbo. stat, which is also not displayed in the game. This build here, though, as you can see from at least the stats on the screen, is pretty even across the board, which is why people quote it's basically mathematically the best build. I personally don't use this build. And again, this is why I've said try and find what works best for you, because that's what's most important. I have seen people, I mean, I use this, but I'll explain why. I've seen people use, like, people tend to say, like, you want to try and use a heavier character because it's got higher top speed, which is true. But I've seen people do equally as well with lighter characters, like Yoshi, for example. I've seen a lot of really good Yoshi players out there. So yes, your build will help, but at the end of the day, it mostly boils down to the person and how comfortable you are, and how, yeah, just how comfortable you are, and obviously the more comfortable you are, the better you will tend to usually perform. So, if you are wanting to go like uber mega, like freaking, you know, like optimum build, then go for the Wiggler build. If you want to be slightly varianting though, so if you don't want to copy people exactly, if you do want to go for this meta build, the other carts that have the exact same stats as the Wiggler is this one here, which is the W25 Silver Arrow. The next one that has the exact same stats, I'm changing that, I'm changing it, is the Standard Bike, surprisingly, has the same stats as the Wiggler as well. I'm trying to find the dang thing, which is, where is it? There it is, that's your Standard Bike. That's also got the same stats as the Wiggler. The Flame Rider has also got the same stats, which is this one here. And then, yeah, so that's your alternatives if you don't want to use the Wiggler and look like everyone else. Those cart parts have exactly the same stats. Same thing with Waluigi. If you don't want to use Waluigi, but you still want to use the meta build, the other two characters in the game that have exactly the same stats as Waluigi are Donkey Kong and Roy, which is this lovely little dude here. So yeah, if you want to go full hardcore meta, that is the best way to do it. I am going to stick a link to the wiki in the description below because it's a lot of data to go over. Again, try and find what works best for you. That is the main thing. Like I said, I personally don't use that setup. I use a setup that is becoming more popular recently, just because it is. My setup focuses a lot more on mini turbo. So my setup has got really high mini turbo, and then I use Rosalina because I don't really like Waluigi and stuff, just to have that higher end top speed. So I used to main Peach, but it's just got a lower end top speed. So to try and balance it out, I'll use Rosalina instead, because I don't really like Roy and Donkey Kong and all that lot. So that's why I use Rosalina. If you do want to try match my build, go nuts. I mean, again, it's trial and error at this point. But my build is very high on heavy turbo. What does that mean? What that means is I can generate mini turbo slightly easier and quicker. And I also, when I do the mini turbos, which we'll go into all of that soon, obviously throwing the phrase out there and I haven't really explained it yet, we will get there. The mini turbo does last slightly longer, depending on your mini turbo stat. I just prefer that gameplay style. That's just me. One thing I will note is that there are two constants, and there's only two variables when it comes to kart setups. The two constants is, what I mean by that is, you've got all these wheels here, and pretty much every build in the game that's considered good, semi-good, whatever, they all use the roller wheels, be it the basic rollers or the Israel rollers. They are pretty much just the best wheels in the game. I've seen other people use other wheels, but it's very rare, and it's mostly on time trials, and mostly it's very map specific, and they'll use, like, say, the leaf tires here, for example, for like a higher top speed. But genuinely, the two constants that are in the gliders and the wheels, which is roller wheels, are basically best in slot, as far as I know. You can't really get any better than that. They've just basically got best all-round stat, and they've got the highest mini turbo stat as well. That's why they're really good. And same for gliders. Now in the meta build they say the paper glider's the best, but there's actually 3 other gliders in the game that has exactly the same stats. One of them being the one I use, which is the cloud glider here. So if you're like, oh no, I want to go for the meta build, but I haven't unlocked like the paper glider yet or something like that, don't worry about it. Because the other gliders in the game that have exactly the same stats is the cloud glider here, the parachute, which is just this one here, and the flower glider here. They all have the same stats. So if you haven't got the paper glider, or you don't like the look of it and you want to use one of the others, they all have the same stats. So use one of those if you want to deviate. But these are the two what I'd say are constancies, which is these are basically the best in slot for their respective excuse me, their respective slot basically. So these two are pretty constant. The only variables really come in the cart body, depending on how you want to play, and on the character itself. In regards to the cart bodies, obviously you've got different bikes here. There's basically 3 different drift types in the game. So you've got your kart drift type, which just drifts like it does in a kart. You've got the bikes, like the standard bike here, which actually has a kart drifting style. So if you like the look of the bike and actually prefer the look of the bike over a kart, but you like how a kart drifts, go for one of these. They're pretty good. So the standard bike's got the kart drifting style. The Duke has got the kart drifting style. The Flame Rider does. The Vermont does as well. And the Mr. Scooty does as well. And I think one of the 2 Zelda bikes has the kart drifting style as well. I don't know which though. Oh, and the City Stripper. Yeah. So there's alternatives there if you just prefer that. That's entirely your choice. In regards to the rest of the bikes though, these bikes here, so you've got the Yoshi bike, you've got the Jet bike, you've got the Sport bike, and you've got the Comet. They are called what's known as inward drifting bikes. They're very hard to learn, and they do have a very big flaw with them. Because if anyone's played the Wii version of Mario Kart, you'll find that the bikes dominated. They just did. The inward drifting bikes dominated, but they changed how they work slightly in Mario Kart 8, where they have like it's kind of weird. So you can drift inwards very tightly, but they have like a wide exit, and that wide exit actually makes you go slower. I personally, for the longest time, used an inward. I actually used this setup right here for the longest time, which is what I call an inward drifting bike. And then I swapped to a kart because I was like, I'm losing. I see everyone's using a kart, I'll try a kart. And I did some time trials, and I actually ended up finding that because you can do tighter drifts with a kart, or a kart drifting style bike even, because obviously they have the same drift type, I was quite a lot quicker. Now I'm not saying you have to use a kart drifting type, I'm not at all. I've seen some people still do the inward drifting bikes, and they're very, very, very good. So again, it depends what your playstyle you prefer is and what you want to go with. But obviously, if you want to min-max to the absolute extreme, then that's something just to keep in mind. So that being said, what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to put all the link in the description for the wiki below. Because again, I could cover this for hours, and I'm not going to cover it. It's just a lot of data to go over. But that is the generalization of it. If you want some personal recommendations from myself in regards to a kart body style, then a few I'm going to throw out there that I'd say are probably, in my opinion, quite top tier, would be the Biddy Buggy. I like it a lot. It's very, very good. The Mr. Scooty Bike, which is, if I can find the dang thing, which is this here. It's got exactly the same stats as the Biddy Buggy, but it's a bike. But it also has the kart drifting style, so it depends whichever you want to use, really. I personally prefer these two. Obviously, you've got the Wiggler tier, which again, you got the Wiggler, you've got the other karts that are the same stats as the Wiggler, which is the Mercedes part, which I wish these were in order of what I want to discuss. There you go. So you got that one, which is the W25 Silver Arrow. That's the same stats as the Wiggler. Standard Bike has got the same stats as the Wiggler. That's another very good part. And the Flame Rider. So you got your Flame Rider there, and then you got your Standard Bike there. They've got the same stats as the Wiggler as well. The Teddy Bike is actually quite good. It's got pretty good mini turbo stat. It's got like a 5 in mini turbo, which is the same as the Wiggler. So if you like your cute things, the Teddy Buggy's also a pretty good choice. It's the same stats, like I said, for the mini turbo side of things as the Wiggler. As is, if you really like cute things, the Cat Cruiser also has the same stats. For mini turbo at least. Obviously there's some varying stats elsewhere, but yeah, if you're going just for the mini turbo stat, then these two are good alternatives as well. If you want an inward drifting bike recommendation, there's 2 inward drifting bikes that have the same like mini turbo boost stat as the Teddy Bike and the Cat Bike, which are the Yoshi Bike, which I did actually personally use for a while. I think is pretty good. And also the Comet, if you want an inward drifting style recommendation, that is there as well. To be honest though, I've seen people use the most janky stuff in the world and they've been really good with it. So again, there's a lot of variables. The Biddy Buggy and again, if you're going for a mini turbo build, the Biddy Buggy and the Mr. Scooty have the highest mini turbo stat in the game. If you don't like those, the second highest mini turbo stat you can go for, if you are just after that but want to be a bit different, be a bit unique, is the Streetle. And where's the pirate ship thing? And the land ship. That's one as well. Other alternatives are, and again, I've seen people really good with these, the pipe frame. I'm having to look over my screen because obviously there's a lot of information. So yeah, the pipe frame is one. The City Tripper is another one, has the second highest mini turbo stat out of all the car parts. And the last one is the Varmint. And again, I've seen a lot of people be good with these as well. So if you're starting the game, because obviously when you start the game you haven't got many things unlocked, and the order you unlock things in is actually completely random. That's the other thing to know as well. So someone could be playing the game and their first unlock will be the Biddy Buggy, for example, and then there's other people who I've known their last unlock has been the Biddy Buggy. It's completely random. So there's a lot of variables. So especially when you're just starting, don't worry you haven't got X and Y specific part. There are alternatives that have the same stats, slightly different stats, and you can play around with it. My main advice is to play around with it. Find what works best for you in terms of handling, in terms of the mini turbo boost, etc, etc. I personally, again, as I said, I prefer a boost style. The type of setup I've got here is a very boost heavy style. Because the Wiggler on some courses I could only get 2 stage of boost on some corners, whereas this setup I use I can get 3, which I personally prefer. Again, we'll go into boost and everything else in a moment, so please bear with me on that one. But yeah, that's just a rough breakdown of kart parts, things like that. Again, play around with it, look at the spreadsheet, which is just on the wiki, because again, the other thing as well is the characters themselves, they've all got these hidden stats. So Peach, for example, has got a higher mini turbo stat than Rosalina, but Rosalina's got a higher top speed than Peach. So find a balance that works for you. I know a lot of people like the baby characters, for example. Just to quickly brief down on this, because I know a lot of people like them. So Toad, Koopa Trooper, Shy Guy, obviously you've got all the baby characters here. Toadette, Lakitu. I think, does this one class as a baby one? Yep. Lemmy is another baby character, as is Larry. So the variables. Oh, and Wendy. Wow, I didn't know Wendy was as well. Cool. So the variables here are, in terms of how the characters work, to save you having a look at the wiki if you don't really want to go through the numbers, which I don't blame you. The lightest characters, which are the baby characters, they have the highest mini turbo stat and the highest handling, but they have the lowest top speed. And then the heavier character you go, the more that shifts in the other direction. So the heavier the character you go, you get less mini turbo, less handling, but you get a higher top speed. So that's when building a kart that has a good balance between speed, maybe handling, mini turbo is a good way to go, which is what the Wiggler build does, to be honest, statistically speaking, that is. But again, you've got to find what works for you. I find the lighter characters, especially the baby characters in multiplayer matches, they do get pushed around a lot. You can get knocked off the edge of the map, things like that. I would say if you're going to be playing them in lobbies, that that these are probably the higher, I'd say, skill requirement to be good with, to like avoid being knocked off the track and stuff by the heavier characters. I have seen people absolutely destroy with them. Like I said, every character is actually viable. I've seen people be good with everything. And it's, again, just finding what works best for you. But I'd say if you want to avoid that difficulty spike, maybe avoid a baby character and go for like the next weight tier up, which is Yoshi, Mario, Peach, Daisy, things like that. And if you are wanting to go like super hardcore meta, at least on character-wise, if you're, say, used to a baby character, try play the next weight tier up, get used to that. Once you've got that weight tier, try going up another weight tier until you're at a level where you're happy with your build, how it feels, and how it drives. At the end of the day, that's what matters, is what's best for you. So yeah, I hope that made sense. I hope that gave you all some food for thought, so to speak. But yeah, look at the wiki, because like I said, the stats on there, they're all there, and you can make a pretty good balanced build for yourself. If people are wanting to copy my build specifically, and you don't like Rosalina, for example, the other characters that have the same stats as Rosalina are Boo and Link, and that's both skins of Link as well, so both of them, they have the same stats. Just like I said, Waluigi, the same stats, Donkey Kong and Roy. So again, just find what works best for you. That's what matters most. That being said, I'm going to get us into a time trial. And I'm going to now just go over racing lines and things like that quickly. I'm going to get a notepad up on my other screen. You can see this, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to need to write down a couple of times. Just to compare so you can see the difference. So I've got that ready there. So I'm going to choose, I actually thought of this one already. I'm going to choose Raw Raceway, just because I can. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about racing lines next. Now, I'm just going to, for this demonstration here right now as I'm doing, I'm going to show you how I've seen people play. And then we're going to compare the times. I'm not going to do the boost or anything. And then you can see the difference. So this is how I tend to usually see people play online. Okay? Which, if you've watched any other Mario Kart stream, this is genuinely how people will play. I've watched many VODs of friends and stuff, and again, this is just generally how I'll see them play. Okay? So I'm going to do these 3 laps, and then I'm then going to do another 3 laps of how I play, and we're going to compare the times, and then we'll discuss like the differences and things like that. So just for now, bear with me. We're just going to go through here, and we're going to then compare the times. So we're not going to do any boosts or anything like that, like I said. But this is generally how I've seen people play online. They've overshot this corner a few times, they've hit the plant there, etc, etc. So bear with me. It's a nice track, this. I like it, it's very pretty. I think that's why I chose, actually, because I like the track, so. But yeah. This is how I generally see to 10 people play, and I hope that looking at this you go, yeah, this seems about right. I'm trying to play not how I usually play, which is very disconcerting. So please bear with me, because I'm not used to playing how I don't usually play. So here we go. On the final lap now. Like I said, I've had people, I'm going to do this here, because I've had this happen a few times. People run off there, and they'll hit that wall. So I'm trying to simulate as much as possible what I've seen people do. Because that's the other thing, I've seen people go off the track, which obviously slows you down. So I've seen people go off here as well, for example, and do that. So just trying to simulate a standard race. Now, obviously there's no carts or anyone hitting me, things like that, but just to give you a genuine feel, okay? Obviously it's hard to simulate anything perfectly, but I'm trying my best. So yeah, we're getting there now. We're on the final lap, and I'm going to make a note on my screen just after this recording here, just so we can get a lap time recording. So we did that in a 2:25.36. Okay? And that was for what I call a standard... how I've seen an average player play the game. Okay? Now, I'm going to retry this, and I'm going to just do it how I play it. And then we're going to compare the times. And then I will go over some things that potentially cause the times to be different. But I think the visual demonstration will hopefully help people. So if you bear with me here, like I said, I'm not going to use any shit mushrooms. But I'm going to play this how I would usually play this now. And that's what I'm doing. So please bear with me, because I'm going to concentrate a little bit. Just because I don't want to then say, oh, this is better, and it was slower. So please bear with. But yeah, one thing to, like, I don't know, I mean, note immediately, like, try and spot the difference. That's the thing I'm going to tell you right now. Between the first run I did and the run I'm doing now. Actually try and see if you can spot the differences. One thing I will say that you might note is, or hopefully will notice, is the racing lines. And I'm also getting more turbo boosts, as in I'm getting higher turbos. So, yeah, try and notice the difference, and then obviously I will go over the differences. But if you can actually notice it, then that's really good. I don't know how much quicker I actually am going currently, but we'll see. I nearly messed it up, which is kind of funny. Sod's law that actually I'm going to mess it up. This is going to happen. So yeah, just bear with me. Hopefully you can notice a difference. We'll obviously see with the end time what the difference will be. But we will see. So we're on the final lap already. I never can take that corner as tight as I want to. So, we're getting there. Bear with me. We're nearly there. It's about half a lap left. Yeah, half a lap. We got this. Well, I actually did mess up and didn't get enough boost. Oh, well, it's fine. Okay, so we're nearly there. For the sake of the demonstration, me messing up one boost is not going to make the end of the world. Okay. So, we've crossed the line. 209. 209. 63. And I wasn't actually going as ham as I could. So, let me just pull up this here quickly. I'm just going to do a quick calculation for everybody. Calculator, because I'm too lazy to manually calculate this, because why not? So, we've got 2, 25, 36, minus 2, 0, 9, 63. That's not what I wanted. Why you do this to me? Actually, I'm just going to average it. I'm not even going to bother calculating it. I'm being an idiot. It's roughly 14 seconds. Actually, yeah, no more than that. Yeah, 15 seconds. There's basically, round it off, that was 15 seconds faster than the average, like I'd say, gameplay style I've seen people do. Which was obviously the first demonstration. So, again, to put it into context, the first one was 2 minutes, 25:36. And then the one I've just done there was 2 minutes, 9 seconds, 63. Which is quite a big difference. Obviously, items and stuff, they play a big role, but that is a substantial role based purely on speed. Which obviously in a race and everything, it can make a huge difference. So, why was that so different? Well, this is where we're going to just try and get into it and break it down. So, the first thing to note is racing lines. Well, boost actually got to go down there. So racing lines. So what I was doing is I was hugging the corner like glue, and I was only going off the racing line like this to get coins, because you want to get 10 coins, because if you have 10 coins, your speed increases. The more coins you have, the faster you go. So you want to hug the corners like so, because that is the best racing line to take, and get as many coins as you can as well. Again, coins equals speed. The more coins you have, the faster your top speed is. It's just a fact. So you see here, I'm hugging the corner, come out of it, hug the corner into the apex, hug the corner as much as I can, without going off like that, obviously. And yeah, that is literally the best way to do it. That is your racing lines. Because it's a lot faster to hug the corner than be halfway out in the middle of the track like this. The only time I ever do this is to get a coin. It's a lot quicker to go around the corner tight than all the way out in the apex like it. You want to hug the apex as much as you can. It's like glue. Racing lines are very important, and they will make you quicker. So that's the first thing. So again here, I'll hug the apex here, hug the apex, boom. It's a lot quicker than being all the way out on the edge of the corner like this. It's not efficient to be out on the edge of the corner like this. You want to hug your apexes, get as close and tight to the corner as you can. The second thing, like I said, was coins. I can't remember the exact percentage, but per coin you get a percentage speed increase. That's just a given. So you want to try and be on 10 coins as much as possible. Obviously in an online lobby, you're going to get hit by a lot of stuff, you're going to lose coins. So just try and just keep an eye on, right, I need to get coins. There you go. Took a slightly wider line to get those coins, but it's worth it because you get the speed increase, for example. It depends on the corner. So like, there's some corners like that one back there. So say for example, to break. So say for example this corner here. There's coins in the middle of the corner. Okay. Yeah, sharp left. And I'm going anyway. Sharp. Calm down. And there's coins in the middle of the corner. So what I'll do is I'll grab the coins here in the corner, and then I'll try and then make the cart tuck into the apex so I still don't go as slow. So yeah, we've got coins here. So look, I'll grab the coins here, and then I'll go cut tight to get back into the corner. So you don't lose as much speed going out to get the coins, but you're still trying to keep that racing line as tight as you can as well. It's finding the balance, but you want to try and get coins as much as possible. The second thing, and this is what I'm going to show you right now, is you can get boost starts. When it hits 2, hold down your speed, and then you'll get a boost start, guaranteed. It's always when it hits 2. I've been off by like a frame before and overdone it. I've been like 1 frame too quick, but if you watch here, 3, hold it down on 2, there's your boost start. It's pretty consistent. Just remember, 2, don't do anything on your speed at all until it hits 2, and then just hold down your speed. Like so. And done. You're guaranteed a boost start. Depending on how frame perfect you are, obviously, will then depend how big of a boost start you get. But, general rule of thumb, don't hold any speed or anything. Hit 2. Go. So yeah, hold your accelerator on 2. And then you're guaranteed your boost start, basically. So yeah, that's it, basically. That is the main thing. The next thing I want to talk about is... I'm just going to use these, so I keep just accidentally pressing what I want to. So... the next thing I want to talk about is your mini turbos. As you are probably aware, there's 3 stages of mini turbo in this game, which is indicated by your wheels. You can see my wheels here, they're now going blue, that's stage 1. Orange is stage 2, purple is stage 3. You can see it by the back wheels. I just did that to show it, so here you go again. Blue, orange, pink. Pink being the highest tier. Now, this is one of the reasons I don't use that meta build, because I could only usually on most corners get the first 2 stages, which is got stage 1, which is blue, and then stage 2, which is orange. And I was struggling to get stage 3, which again I play the boost style, which you're supposed to get the highest. Now, what I'll do is I'll go back here quickly to show you. With all the beeping, I can't stop the beeping. So we use this last corner here for example. Reverse up a bit. Now a lot of people on this last corner, just for example, they'll do this. They'll do the 1 boost and they'll go. Basically they'll do the minimum they have to get around the corner and go. So they're in the straight line again. So they'll do this. And go. And go. Boost. Go. Now what you want to try and do is you can't do it on all corners. If you do it on all corners, you will actually slow yourself down. So, because this corner here, for example, is quite a shallow corner, you can only really get away with doing one boost. But this corner here, drag it out. You can hold it, get a second boost. You get more speed that way. This corner here is a shallow one, you can only really get one. This one here, though, is a slightly deeper corner, get two. This one here, for example, you can actually hold it and get three. So learning what corners you can drag out your boost on, really important. So this corner here is only a shallow one, it's a 1. This one here, most people only get 2, but you can actually get a 3. With obviously the correct build. Some builds, like I said, if they're lacking mini turbo, you can't edge it out as easily. Again, most people do it 1 here, this is a 2. So that's another way to improve your speed, is edge out your mini turbos on corners that you know you can, but that takes practice and time, basically, to judge which course has the best corners. You can do it on the solo. And if I went through every course, I'd be here for like a year. So that is another advice, just try and edge out your mini turbos on the corners that I've got more depth to them. So shallow corners like this, you can't really do it. But any corner that's got a bit more of a curve to it and a bit longer of a drift, you can probably edge it out, is the general rule of thumb. So that is something else to keep in mind of. What also helps you generate mini turbos is when you're going through a corner, if you wiggle left and right, it will actually help you generate the turbos slightly quicker. So if you look at my character, if I wiggle, it generates the turbo slightly quicker. This again just takes time to get used to. Wiggling can actually slow you down as well, so you don't want to do it too much. You want to do it just enough so you can get your turbo built up. Because if I didn't wiggle on that corner back there, I probably have only got stage 2. So again, I'll wiggle here so I can get stage 2, otherwise I won't get stage 2. For example. It's really hard to show because it's so fast-paced. But I'll just go back here. Look. So I won't wiggle on this corner, and you'll see the difference. Wait a second. So I'll take the corner, I won't wiggle, and only got a 1, as you saw. And that was also taking the tight racing line as well. So, I will try and show this again with the wiggle. As we go here, hit the corner, bit of a wiggle, and there we go. We got the stage 2. It's literally just wiggling left and right during the drift. That is it. It does slow you down if you wiggle too much, so don't overdo it. Like I said, just do it enough to get your second stage boost up, if you are trying to edge out that little bit of extra boost. And that's really it for like mainly just basic driving tips, is hug your corners, wiggle to get your boost up as much as you can, get 10 coins and try and keep as many coins as you can during your race as a priority. As you can see here, just keep the tight lines, keep the corners as tight as you can, and go from there. I'm just going to do a quick another demonstration up here, just hug the apexes. I messed up there, that's fine, I'm human. So I'm going to wiggle here to get my stage 3. There we go. Edge out just a tiny bit there. Like so. And here again, I'm going to wiggle just to get the extra boost. But you can see my character when I do wiggle, like my character kind of does like a left and right animation as well. So something just to keep in mind like on that. So that is like just general driving tips. It probably would take a while to get used to. And I think that is just a given across the board. Really, always try and keep a tight line as possible in the corners. Boost as much as you can, and try and make sure you've got as many coins as you can, because they increase your speed. That is just primary basics really for driving, and just to how to generally get better. And obviously, like I said, the difference was about 15 seconds a lap, which, I mean, if you think about motor racing in real life, they consider half a lap like at least half a year to a year's worth of development to come back on. So 15 seconds is colossal in the terms of racing in general. Next thing I want to talk about is quickly, and I kind of went into weird order for this, so I do apologise for that. Is I'm going to go back in here quickly. Is a lot of people use the auto functions that I've seen. So what I mean by that is, as you can see on the screen here, underneath the stats, you've got the icons for auto drive and the auto steer function thing, which I can't remember how to turn on and off now. How do you turn that on and off? I'm dumb. But yeah, so what a lot of people I've noticed will do is the one on the left there, which has got the question mark on it, that will give you like the antenna sticking out the back of your car. That's the auto steer. And the one on the right with the R icon next to it with the arrow that's grayed out. So you see here, you've got it here. This one here, hopefully you can see my mouse, you should be able to see my mouse. That's your auto steer, and that's your auto accelerate. Now, auto steer and auto accelerate are basically made for beginners who aren't really good at racing games, which is fine. But you want to try not use these as much as possible. Why? Well, auto steer, for example, because obviously it's helping you steer and get around corners, they've made it so you can't actually get the maximum level of mini turbo boost. It can only give you a stage 2. You can never get a stage 3 if you're using this function. So inherently you are generally slowing yourself down because you're using this function. So by all means use it when you very first start playing the game, but you want to try and wean yourself off it as quickly as possible, because it does slow you down to use it, because you're basically missing an entire level of boost, and you're missing a resource because of that, which again will slow you down. Same thing with auto accelerate. A lot of people don't know this, but for the convenience of the kart auto accelerating itself, it will not actually be as a higher top speed as if you were just holding down the accelerate button yourself. That is the trade-off. So again, you're losing speed for the convenience, which if you do want to go as quickly as possible, then don't recommend it. So try, if you are using these functions, try and wean yourself off of them and don't, because you're losing out potentially a lot of speed by using them, essentially. What I'm going to quickly cover now, because there's a couple more things I want to cover. I need Cheeseland. Where's Cheeseland? I hate Cheeseland. It's not a fun map. It's not a fun map at all. I'm going to cover gliders next quickly, because there's one, and then I'm also going to cover, just like approach to corners, because there's some corners. I'll explain that when we get through it, and then I'll go over item management. And then that should pretty much wrap it up. So for now, what I'm going to do is... Where is Cheeseland? Am I blind? They've gone past it like 3 times. This is great. Where is Cheeseland? Cheeseland. I need that map. Where the heck is Cheeseland, people? Is it one of the new ones? Yeah, it is. That's why I can find it. Cool. I don't want Baby Park. That map is awful. Okay. So... Let's go solo race. Right. Gliders. We're now going to cover gliders. Now, what a lot of people don't know with gliders is you can actually control the height you're going when you're gliding. So I'll show you here. A general mistake that I see a lot of people make, so we'll just get to the corner, so please persevere with me a moment. So when people get to the glider sections coming up here, so bear with me for the moment. Not this corner, but the next one. So what people will do is they're coming up to the glider section here. They'll glide. And they'll either hit the ball there, or because they've glided for so long, they go off the track. Essentially. Because they didn't control their glide. I've seen a lot of people run into that ball and spin out. And like just happened with me there, because I landed so late, I span out because I couldn't turn quick enough, and I ended up off the track. Now what you want to do is, I'll just show you here, and I'll tell you how you do it if you're not aware how you do it, is... I'll get back to it now. Please bear with. Trying to go as quick as I can to get back. Come on. is you can control the height, like I said, of your glide. So you can go higher or you can land earlier. So for corners like this, and there's several other tracks that do this, but obviously this is again more specific to certain tracks, is come off the ramp here, control your glide, land earlier, you dodge the dog entirely, you can get a nice tight racing line for the corner, you don't go off the track, and you can even get yourself an extra stage in the boost as well. And it's a lot quicker. Knowing the track though, that's more track knowledge based. And some tracks you actually want to extend it even, which you then obviously do the opposite. But the general thumb is there's some corners where you can land earlier, and if you're like, oh, well, after one section I tend to go off the track or I hit an obstacle or something like that, try force to land earlier so you can make the corner. Because you're not losing any time by doing so. So I'll do again here, like, right, I'm going down, 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 quickly down, I miss the thing entirely, and I get a lot more mini boost for it, and I hit the apex of the corner absolutely perfectly. Again, there's some tracks you want to extend it. Now, how do you do this? Well, your directional buttons that you use for steering, if you push up on the directional button, mine's inverted, I think you can change it. Can you change it? I don't think you can. You might be able to in options, but you want to push up on your left stick, and then that will make the glider go down. And if you push down on the left stick, it will make the glider go up. So on this corner here, I'm pushing down to make the cart go. So I'm pushing up to make it go down quicker, like so. And I'm not gliding nearly as far off the edge as I otherwise would. Again, there are a couple of tracks I'd like to extend the glider on. The Ninja Hideaway one's a good one to extend it on, actually, because you can reach some higher places and things with that. If I want to extend it, I'd push down. So I'll show you here. Actually, I'm going to do an extension now. I don't want to bring it off the track, but it's fine. So please persevere with me, mate, so to get back there now. But this is a good track that I thought to show this on. So yeah, we're coming up to it now. I'm going to try and extend it now. So I'm going to hold down on my controller. And look how much further we go there. We go a lot further and end up in the middle. But so yeah, you want to land your glider earlier. Push up on your left stick, and that'll make it go down. Push down on your left stick if you want to go up. I don't know if you can actually change. I'm going to check now if you can change it. I've got it inverted because that's what I'm used to. I'm going to check if you can change it now, because I don't know if you can. Can you change it? Is there an option to change controls in this game? No. Hello? No, there's not, so yeah. Not that I'm aware of. It seems you cannot change it, so yeah. Oh, that's just to change controller. Cool. Yeah, so just remember, some corners, it will benefit you to land your glider earlier. Some corners and tracks, it would be better to make it go further. This again boils down to track knowledge, and that will just come with practice. So that's something to keep in mind. The next thing I'm going to show you is, and luckily I've got the new map, so I can show you this one because it's very clear. And again, this comes down to track knowledge, and this is something I again have seen a lot of people do, which you don't really want to do. So, as you all probably are aware, I haven't really gone over it, but I'll go over it quickly. When you're on a jump, like here, if you press the hot button, you get a boost. Like so. Boost, 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 which is great. You can boost off jumps, which is fantastic. But corners like this one here, if you boost like so, you end up straight in the wall, which you don't want. You don't want that. It slows you down. So, this again comes down to track knowledge. So if you bear with me, I will just turn around and show you. So, how do you avoid that? Well, knowing what corner will do it, go up the ramp here, don't boost, go into your drift. And it will stop throwing you in the wall. It's simple as that. The amount of times I've seen people boost off of the corner because they're like, oh, it's a ramp, I have to boost jump off of it. And they've ended up straight in the wall and losing a lot more time because they've slammed into the wall, lost all their speed, is I've lost count. And I've done it myself a lot as well. you lose a lot of... you lose more speed than you gain. See, I'm boost hopping there. Driving to the wall because I can. So here you go, look. This corner here, I'm not going to boost. I'm just going to drive off like so. And that way I don't get thrown into the wall as you saw previously. Again, this is just more track knowledge things. But knowing what corners you can and can't do, the boost jumps on like that. So jump, jump, boost, jump, boost. It will benefit you a lot. So I'm going to do it on this one now, even though I said don't. So we're coming up here, I'm going to hop, boost off of it, and I'm destroying to the wall. And destroy you down. And you've got a terrible racing line, which you don't want. So, knowing what courses to hop boost off the ledges for, and what ones not to hop boost off the ledges for, will also help you greatly improve your speed. This again though comes down to track knowledge, which yeah, I did too early. Which in turn will help you. So hop boost here, hop boost here, hop boost. Oh, I always miss that one. And then don't hop boost here because then you won't end up on the wall. So as you saw, I threw up in the wall last time. I'm not going to do it here. Go into my drift. Look how much quicker that is. I can get a nice tight line. I can even edge out a 3 mini turbo. And yeah, it's just knowing what corners you can do it on and what corners you can't. It's as simple as that. That again boils down to track knowledge more than anything else. I still do it from time to time to force a habit. But yeah, I know I didn't really explain hop boosting very much, but what it is essentially, just quickly to go over it because I didn't explain it because I kind of thought everyone would know. But basically, essentially, when you reach jump, if you hit the button to drift to hop, you get a boost at the peak of the jump. So hit the button, boost. That's all it is. But it can also be detrimental, like I said. Depends entirely on the track and the corner. But more often than not, you do want to do it. Because you will go faster. So here, look, I'll hop boost here. I'll hop boost here. It's worth doing it there. It's fine. But other corners, like I said, you'll just get thrown into the wall, or you'll end up off the track and falling off the track and fired. Which you don't want to do, because it slows you down. So knowing where you can do things and where you can't is another... Just try and get in the habit, really, of, okay, this track I know I can do... For this section here, I can do a hop boost here. I can do a hop boost here. I can do one here. But this next corner here, I'm not going to because it'll end up shoving me in the wall, which you don't want. So I'm not going to do it here. Get a nice drift into the corner now. And then here, I can hop boost here, and now I can hop boost here. And that brake there, so I went a bit too far, that's my own fault. And yeah. That's basically it. That's all it is. Just gonna finish this now. So that again comes with track knowledge, and that comes with practice, and that is my #1 advice. Is just play the game. I've actually not got many hours in this. I've got about 50 hours. No, I don't want to upload the game day because that's a terrible time, and I was doing it for the sole purpose of demonstration. But I'm going to cover that in a minute as to why I'm potentially X and Y faster. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to talk about item management. Item management is interesting because I need computers now because I need items. Knowing where you can use an item or where you potentially can use an item and not to gain an advantage is really important. What I mean by that is, more often than not, I'll see people grab an item and they'll just instantly use it. Like, item, I need to use it now. Boom. Where sometimes, depending on the situation, it's actually better to hold your item. It's actually better to not use it. So I'll give a scenario, which is, say you're in like 5th and you're coming up to, say, the end of the race, and you've got a mushroom, and you know if you use said mushroom you can cut a corner and potentially get like 2 to 3 places. Save that mushroom for the last corner. Don't use it immediately, save it for the last corner. You'll get a bigger benefit that way. You'll gain more places. just as an example. Same thing with every item in the game. There's just, you don't always have to use it immediately just because you've got it. That is something really important to keep a mind of. People are like, oh my god, item, use it, use it, use it, use it. Like, don't. There are instances when you want to use it immediately. Like, if you've just been absolutely destroyed and hit by like 20 different things, use it. Like, I don't know. It's down to your judgment at the end of the day. The item management I'm going to discuss is first place item management, because that works in weird ways. Some of what you want to do in first place as well will benefit you in all places. So, say for example, you're in 5th and you've got a green shell. Stick it behind you. Defend yourself until you hit another item box. That way, at least you're potentially stopping yourself getting hit. You haven't always got to fire it forward. So I'm just going to do a race here. Down like here. And I'm going to get an item box here. And I got a green shell. So what I've done, I stuck it behind me here. Okay? Now I'm protected against red shells. Right? Even if I was in 5th place and I got this green shell, I would have stuck it behind me, I would have shot forward. But again, it depends on you and your judgment. But as a rule of thumb, usually a good idea to stick it behind you if you've got one and you're going to hit an item box. Now, first place works differently, because you see here I got a coin. That's my second item. That's actually really helpful to demonstrate that. So, when you're in first place, like I said, first place works a bit differently. The game will like to give you coins as much as possible. So yeah, I got a coin. This doesn't help you because you want to defend yourself. Now, the way it works is singular boxes. You've got the most chance to get a coin. If you hold on to said coin, you're more often than not then guaranteed to, when you walk into a singular box like this, you're usually then guaranteed to get an item that you can stick behind yourself with banana peel, green shell, whatever. So, if you're like, oh no, I need an item to block with, but I keep getting coins, because you're only going into single item boxes, hold on to the coin, get your second item box, that will then usually guarantee you a defensive item. Use the coin and then stick your defensive item behind you. Double item boxes are slightly different, so I'll show you here. Go into double item box, you'll usually get one defensive item and one coin. So you want to hit as I've just shown you. So one coin, use the coin, stick the defensive item behind you. That is the general rule of thumb when you're in first. It just likes to give you coins. It's just knowing how to get around the game constantly giving you a bajillion coins to then get what you want to defend yourself with. The only other items really you can get in first is a bomb, which is actually quite rare, and the horn, which you can use to block blue shells and stuff with as well, but again, that's also quite rare. More often than not, you'll just get coins, bananas, and green shells. Which is fair. But if you're in like a lower place position, like I said, you want to potentially hold your items at certain intervals. So I'll see if I can replicate that so I can show you what I mean. It's kind of hard because the computer's not the best. I'll stick it on hard. See if that works. What course am I like usually really bad on? I don't know, I need a course, guys. This is where my brain's just going, I don't know, man. Yeah, let's do Ball Raceway again. Start it. No, Donut Plains. That's a good one. We'll do Donut Plains. And I'm going to purposely let the computer go for a minute so I can get these items, so I can kind of try and show what I mean. So if you bear with me. I'm not going to accelerate, like I said, I'm just going to let them go. Could try and play a bit of catch up. So, come on. There we go, that'll do. Right. So. Let me get some items here. We've got a ghost, that's cool. And we've got mushrooms. People go, oh, mushrooms, use them immediately. No. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to hold on to these mushrooms here. Cut this bit as we can. me to try to shoot us. Because I know coming up here, there's a bit I can cut across the grass and stuff. Like so. Look how many more places I've just gained. I just gained like 3 places with that. And if that's the end of the race, you just gained like 3 places. I'm going to cut the corner here as well now with the mushroom as well. It's learning what you can and cannot get away with. So I'm now like 4th, and I've only got 1 red shell. I'm not going to fire that forwards. It's so easy for me to fire that forwards, but I'm not. I'm going to defend myself. Because I did, I blocked a red shell. And now, I can now be in a position where I'm going to get more items to then potentially fight for them. So, I'm going to stop here. Damn lightning. Nice time on actually. So yeah, I'm 3rd again now. They just got hit. It's knowing when to be offensive with the items and when to be defensive. Item management is a really, really, really important strategy. And it's something that's just very good to learn. But yeah, I'm going to stop here again. So say I was like 4th and I've only got 1 green shell. That's fine. I'm not going to fire it. I'm going to defend myself. And I blocked someone because I did. So now we're 3rd. See what items we get. We got a red shell and a green shell. So I'm actually going to fire that because I can defend myself with the green one. Unfortunately, I didn't get any mushrooms for the end of the race, but it should be fine. And we're still 1st. But yeah, I had that defense to then confidently push forwards. So again, it's knowing. I think it's a phrase in poker. It's knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them. Or something along those lines. I'm probably going to get trolled for that. People go, "Oh, your comment was wrong." I'll be like, "Oh no, but you get my point." So yeah, that's literally it. That is literally it. Just know when to best to use your items. But again, that comes with... Sorry, why's my model doing that? That comes with track knowledge. And what does track knowledge come with? The main important point of all, which is practice. Just play the game. It's really that simple. Just play the game. The more you play, the more familiar you get with the courses. The more familiar you'll get to know, like, oh, what, this corner I can do a jump boost on, but this corner's probably not a good idea to do a jump boost on, and... Yeah. I know it's a lot to take in, but, yeah, you get used to it. It's just, in the end of the day, it's just finding what works for you, like I said at the start of the video. Knowing when to use your items, when not to use your items, to benefit yourself the most. That is the key thing. But don't always assume, oh, I've got an item, I have to use it immediately. You don't. Unless you know there's an item box coming up that's like, you're like 2 feet away from, and like, okay, I want to see if there's a double item box there. I'm going to get rid of my item and see if I can get 2 better items that are going to potentially help me out. Then yeah, by all means, throw your items away. Go for a gamble roll if you want. That's entirely your choice as well. But that's about it, really, that I can think of. The only other thing, like I said, is practice. Just practice, practice, practice. Get used to doing the wiggles in the turns to eke out an extra boost. Practice your racing lines. Hug the corners like they're glue. I'll show you a really good course, actually, for that. Give me a second, which is... Where is it? This one, which is actually... my viewer Ghost likes this course a lot. Not really a fan myself. But I'll just show you quickly what it all looks like coming together. This is on hard. I think it was on hard AI. It's the hardest you can get. So start the race. Hold down on 2. Get your boost start. Like so. We've already made up. We're already 4th. There you go. We're now 3rd. So hugging the corner, coming out just to get that coin, going back in. Because you want to get 10 coins, like I said, as much as possible. I'm just went out there to get those coins. Got my 3-stage boost. Go to fairness course. I got hit, but that's fine. I've got 7 coins currently. You can't see it, but I have 7 coins. I'm on 8. I'm just hugging the coins, holding out the boost as much as I can, hugging the corners. Like so. I'm trying to get those 10 coins. Right, I'm on 10 coins now. Hugging the corner. Look at that. I'm tight on that corner. And I'm going quicker than Toad because he hasn't got 10 coins. It's just, it makes a difference. So coin management 1. Racing line 2. I've got 10 coins. I'm lowering the glider quicker so I can land and set myself up for the corner easier here. And just hug that corner. Hug it. Like it's glue. That's a blue shell. That's annoying. Don't do that. I threw that back, so I've got a double line coming up here. So I've got 8 coins now because I got hit. I managed to collect one of my coins that I got hit with. I've got something to defend myself, which is cool. So I'm going to grab these coins here. Hug the apex as tight as you can. Get the triple boost because we're hugging the corner so nicely. Come down the straight here. Boost off the ramp. Hug the corner, Mr. Plant. Hug the corner, hug the corner. And then here off this glide, I'm landing earlier, so I can set myself up for the corner better. I'm not extending the glide. I went off the track, it's fine. I'm like a mile ahead. That's annoying. I had something to defend against a blue shell, and they took it off me, and now I'm getting blue shell. That's actually depressing. Oh well, it happens. That's being Mario Kart, everyone. So there you go, we're on 7 coins now, we've got hit quite a bit. Just going to try and get some more coins. Just try and keep your coins as high as you can. Edge out that drift here, like so. Put the banana behind us to defend. Just that coin there, but it's fine. Hug the corner, hug the corner, hug the corner. Gonna land early to try and get a couple of coins. Boost off here, get your coin. If you can, I missed it, and just hug the corner. It's just racing lines. Hug the corner like they're super glue. Get your coins and item management. That's literally it. And like you saw me do with the glider, I was landing early to set myself up for the corner better. So then give myself just a better entry to the corner, which is fine. It's not always good to extend the glider that far. You don't always want to do that. Trying to think of another course I can demonstrate here. This one's a good one. There's no glider on it, but this is a good one to show racing lines and stuff. Dragon Raceway is fun. I like Dragon Raceway. So, Dragon Raceway. When it hits 2, hold down the speed, just don't let go, get your boost start, just keep holding down the speed from then on. And we're going to hug the corner. We're going to drift out slightly wider here to get the coins. Get the item box. So hug the corner, get the coins, defend yourself with your items. Drifted out there just to get the coins there. Now we've got 10 coins. We can now just focus on hugging the apexes, getting that racing line that you want to get. So hug the corner. Boost jump off all these ramps. And just hug the apex again. Got a third mini turbo there from wiggling. Usually you can only get 2 if you don't wiggle. Keeping hold of the coin because we're going to want to get a defensive item. So we know it's going to give us another one if we don't hold on to the coin. So we hold on to the coin. Get the item to defend ourselves, which is the banana. Use the coin, put the banana behind us. Hug the corner as much as we can. Get your mini turbo boost up to as high as you can. Hug the corner, get your boost up, hug the corner. And just get as many jump boosts as you can. And as you can see on the map in the bottom right, I've got quite the lead already now. And it's just from driving. I've not hit anyone. I've actually not been hit, which is a surprise as well. Just solely from driving, racing lines, edging out your turbo boost, all these things make a huge difference. And like I showed in the demonstration, it was like 15 seconds difference, which is, in racing, in any form of racing, it's huge. So we got hit, so we're going to get these coins, and then we're going to go back and hug the apex there. And we just try and stay on 10 coins as much as possible. I've just got some coins there. So now I'm going to try and just get these coins here just to get my coins back, and also I get boosts from these poles, so we're benefiting anyway. We're now back on 10 again. Boost jump off of here. We've got double defending items this time, that's very good. So yeah, hug the corner. Can't go in the grass, just slow you down. And race over, and there's the gap you saw there, look. That's quite a big gap. And this is the hard AI as well. So I'll do a couple more races just as like an example, try and explain as I'm going, which is really disconcerting. I've never really had to do it before. Hopefully it helps by me giving the representation here. So Or with a glider. Where's a course with a glider that would be good to... Could do Cheeseland, I suppose. Yeah, we'll do Cheeseland. We'll actually do a race on Cheeseland. I hate Cheeseland. We'll put it in. I don't like the track. It's not a great track. So this is race 3. This will actually probably be my last exam race as well. So we're in first. Wait for it. What here says 2. Hold down the accelerator from 2 onwards. Get your boost start. Get your coins. I'm taking the wide line here just to get some coins. I missed them because I'm an idiot, but that's fine. Get that there. We're going after coins at the moment, which is why we're taking a slightly wider line. We're already on 8. And now we're on 10. And we've got our defensive line as well. I'm going to land the glider earlier so I can hit the corner. Get a nice racing line for the corner. I'm not going to extend the glider too much. And then it's just drifting, drifting, drifting. Hug the corners as much as you can. These are shallow corners, so you can really get one boost off of them. Jump boost, jump boost. 1 maximum coins. So again, just hug the corners. Hug the apexes. To edge out as many boosts as you think you can in each corner. This one here is a triple boost corner, so we're going to just do a little bit of a wiggle defense to build up there. There we go. That's also defense line, but I'm going to hold on to the coins when we get another one. The glider bits here, I'm going to land earlier so we can hit the corner nice and perfectly. Go to the ball. Set ourselves up nicely for the corner. Grab an item box here. Wait for it to give us the item, which will be a defensive item, like so. Use the coin, put the defensive item behind us so we can defend ourselves. I hate this track. The computer actually keeping up with me because I don't like it. So yeah, again, just hugging corners, hugging corner. Eke out those turbos. So now I've got a coin again, but we've got a double item box coming up, so I'm going to use the coin, get the double item box, then guarantee to get a defensive item from it. And there we go, we've got our shell there. Land the glider earlier so we don't mess up the corner, so we have a good entry to the corner, like so. Gonna get the double item box here. I got Mario Kart, that's fine. We're on 10 coins already again, which is awesome. Let's keep the bomb behind us for defense. And there we go. So yeah, that is the main thing. Racing lines, turbo management, coin management, item management. That is the main 4 basics. And then obviously track knowledge, actually 5 basics, your track knowledge as well. Do that, and hopefully you should see yourselves improve. But at the end of the day, the main thing that will help you is practice. Practice, 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 practice. If you want to get super uber good, just play the hell out of it. I cannot recommend that enough. Play against people that are better than you as well. There's a few people in my community, Ghost is one of them, for example, that are just really good. And by playing against people better than you, I feel like it raises me up to do better as well. So don't be afraid to lose. Don't be afraid to, I don't know, just try, really. It takes a lot of getting used to, but once you're there, you should be fine, you know? So I hope that has been useful. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can think of, but there's nothing really like on a general basis I can think of. So yeah, I appreciate you all watching. I hope that has been use to everyone. Oh, I wasn't connecting enough. I forgot I was to put a switch on. No, I don't want to do that. Go away. Go away. Go away. Stop. 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 Right. But yeah, let me just move this here. I hope you all found that useful. If you got any questions, put them in the comments below. Obviously, my VODs are on the YouTube channel, so if you want to actually see me play live on online races and stuff, VODs are there. I'm probably going to stream more in the future as well, Mario Kart, because people seem to enjoy it, which is awesome. And yeah, any questions, like I said, just please put them below. I'll answer as much as I can. And yeah, like I said, I'll put the wiki link in the description as well, so you got all the stats and everything for the cards and characters and whatnot. So, yeah. I hope it helped. I don't know. I hope so. But yeah, until next time, everyone, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and have fun karting. And remember, practice. It's important. Right. Take care, everyone. Have a good day, weekend, evening, wherever you are.